Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TG Worlds 2019. Moving on from Expanded, I guess I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I did want to feature this deck which my friend Russ Cotton and I worked on for Collinsville. I didn't end up playing it obviously as I got top 4 with Pikarom, but he did end up making day 2 with this concept. Yeah, he didn't use this exact list. I modified it a little bit, potentially for best of 1, which I feel like this could be a good call for. But beware, if you expect any Jolteon GX to be played, do not play this deck, because you will immediately lose to a Jolteon GX unless they price either the Eevee or the Jolteon, and even then they can still get the pieces out of the price cards, right? But definitely if there's no Jolteon GX being played and there's the top 4 decks, which are Zapdos, Pikarom, Malamar decks, and Zoroark, Lycanroc, Lucario, then this deck is actually a pretty good call. And why is that? Well, Vileplume, with its ability Disgusting Pollen, actually is able to wall all Zapdos decks, all Pikarom decks, and basically all Malamar decks. Malamar has to resort to Malamar in order to attack, and it only deals 60 damage. You also only deal 60 damage, but we do have healing, right, which Malamar doesn't, so eventually you should be able to outpace them. Downer Shock deals 60 damage, and then if heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. If tails, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. So the tails result might actually be more desirable than the heads result, because if you flip heads, then they have a 50-50 shot of waking up. Although I guess technically it's a 25% chance that they attack you. I don't know. Both ways it's a 25% chance, right? Because then they risk the confusion flip, but with the confusion it's the same 25% chance, but they could also get 3 damage counters in return. But if they're asleep, they can't retreat. If they're confused, they can. So there's benefits to both, but overall a pretty decent attack. We have a 4-3 line with 3 rare candies. We also have a 4 Alolan Vulpix with a 3 regular Alolan Ninetales and 2 Alolan Ninetales GX. So Alolan Ninetales GX, its Mysterious Guidance ability is there so that you can fetch the rare candies and get out into Vileplume as soon as you can. And you also have Snowy Wind, which is a decent attack to pressure with. You deal 70 damage, and then this attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. You also have Sublimation GX, but as long as we have Alolan Ninetales or Vileplume, we should be able to wall most of our opponent's attacks and Pokemon. Now, Alolan Ninetales, with its ability Luminous Barrier, you prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to its Pokemon, by your opponent's Pokemon GX or Pokemon EX. So none of Malamar's attackers can do anything to you. You could effectively wall a full GX-based Pikarom. Yeah, you could effectively wall a full GX-based Pikarom, except for a potential Tabaco Prism Star, which you would eventually 2-hit KO, I guess. So the importance of setting up more than one Ninetales is there. And then we have Virizion GX, so that you can use Breeze Away GX, and you can put any number of Pokemon that you have in play back to your hand, which means you will be able to clean up your board of potential Kuzma targets for your opponents. We also have 2 Double Lele, because we do need to set up, and with 2 Double Lele, 4 Professor Elms, and Double Communication, and 4 Ultra, we have so many ways to get the turn 1 Elm, along with Alolan Vulpix to beacon, that this deck is actually insanely consistent, I would say. Now, we have, supporters-wise, the 4 Elms, 3 Cynthia, 1 Erika, 2 Lily, 2 Kuzma, and 2 Gardenia. No way to reuse supporters, but that is fine. My friend Ross did play Lusamine at the regional. He did find it super useful, but for best of 1, I think this is a little bit better. And then finally we have 4 Ultra Ball, of course, to maximize consistency as well, but we have the 4 Last Chance Potion. This is the card that really makes the deck shine, because you heal 120 damage from under a Pokemon that has 30 HP or less remaining. So once Malamar hits Vileplume twice, you have 20 HP left, which means you get to heal both attacks they just did. Once Naganadel attacks into Alolan Ninetales, you have 30 HP left, which means you can immediately heal their damage. And then we also have Gardenia, which if you have a Grass Energy attached to your Pokemon, you heal 80 damage. So a lot of healing, a lot of potential outs to making your Pokemon survive long enough to go through your opponent's attackers and beat them that way. One counter catcher as well, because you do always fall behind, hence a 4 counter energy as well. 1 life forest, which is also another way to heal, and then 4 grass and 3 fairies round out the deck. And so let's jump into a standard ladder this time around. Yeah, having some variety on the channel. Let's go scroll all the way upwards, and then we shall jump into the ladder and play against, I would assume this is Pikarom, yeah, so, or Zapdos, but either way, as long as my opponent has a Jolteon GX, this is gonna be awful news. If he doesn't have Jolteon GX, then it's actually going to be okay for us. Yeah, and we have the raw elves, which is great, so we'll have to see. Another thing we can do is try to bluff that we don't have Vileplume, right? Which obviously my deck box doesn't help me. My opponent does start the Jirachi, so I'm gonna go ahead and Professor Elms for another Vulpix and the double Oddish. I believe that would be the correct Pokemon to grab. So we'll see. Yeah, we shall see what my opponent tries to do here. The counter energy, probably not great to attach just now, because then whoever gets it immediately becomes a much bigger target. I will, or I should be committing it next turn, but just not quite yet. So we're gonna see the Nest Ball right off the bat, which definitely makes sense. And we'll have to see. There's a chance my opponent tries the Jolteon. We see the Zapdos, so as far as we know, there's only Zapdos. My opponent could have Substrika. Usually Zapdos decks, if it's a pure Zapdos, it's less likely to have Jolteon GX, but it should have Substrika. Which means 2 Vileplumes should be enough to deal with the Substrika. And we see Stellar Wish, we see double Nest Ball into 2 Zapdoses. And we see a switch. Decent card, so my opponent might just end up attacking here, or he's gonna go out into another Jirachi looking for that turn 1 Lily. See the energy getting committed. We might see the switch and then a Lily, but we see a Choice Band first, and there's a Lily. Why wouldn't you play the switch though? Why wouldn't you draw an extra card off the switch? Because think about it, if you're trying to look for an escape board, there's the Eevee. If you're looking for an escape board in order to maybe get another card from Jirachi, your overall card count, it's you draw 1 less from the Lily, but then you gain 1 from Jirachi, but you're still using the switch anyway, so there was no reason to do what my opponent just did. So I'm gonna promote the Oddish. Yeah, I am going to promote the Oddish, and then, I mean, clearly my opponent is playing Jolteon. I mean, yeah, Jolteon, so this is interesting. If I had attached an energy to the Vulpix, I would have been able to KO the Jolteon right here. But, I mean, there was no way for me to know that my opponent would commit so quickly. So I'm gonna play down the Lele. And then I feel like I should commit an energy here. And I will Lele. And I will go ahead and Cynthia. My opponent sends a passive aggressive. You have a good deck. I will go ahead and Cynthia here. And no rare candy, unfortunately. No anything really. Wow. So I'm just gonna pass. I mean, obviously our hope is that my opponent doesn't attach energy to the Eevee. I would assume he would, right? Hopefully he recognizes the Oddish is potentially bigger threat. He was holding the Jolteon, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and concede. Yeah, like I said, if your opponent has Jolteon, you are done for. I believe Ross managed to beat a couple of Jolteons, but based on their bad plays and like penalties and such that his opponents incurred, rather than the fact that he was able to play around Jolteon, because generally there is no way to play around Jolteon for this deck. You have to hope they prize it, or you have to hope they misplay or something. But If they have Jolteon, you are done for. And okay, so we are going first. We do have the Professor Elms. And honestly, it's even not like I wouldn't mind the Oddish going down. I have turned to Vileplume, but I don't have a way to attack with it, so that's not as powerful as you'd want it to be. Okay, so we're up against an attacking Hoopa deck of sorts. Could be a mill deck, which you also do not beat. Right? Which you definitely also do not beat. You can beat mill if you have the Lusamine version plus the Brock's crits. Then you can beat mill. But if it is attacking mill, we might have a chance. If it's just mill, which apparently it is, it's also going to be a hard loss here. So, you can see this deck does have, like, I didn't play this deck because it felt like it was super polar. Either you immediately win once you get a Vileplume or a Ninetales pretty much, or you immediately lose because you have no chance to beat your opponent depending on what they have. So, really difficult times here for this deck. And I also feel like this deck would have been a great call for Australia, right? But definitely not for any tournament afterwards, because now Vileplume did show up in Collinsville as well. It got all the way to top 4 with a mill deck, and so it's just really the surprise factor is definitely gone now. So that's the big issue right here. What a start. We have 4 Alolan Ninetales in our hand. Right? We have 4 Alolan Ninetales in our hand. So we are hoping that our other Lele is not priced, right? We get judged, so Ivan also judges himself. So we'll see what we draw off of the judge. It is an Elm, and we have an energy to retreat, so that actually makes me happy. Now Brokrov probably means, wow, 2 Vulpix are priced. None of the Ninetales are priced, but 2 Vulpix are indeed priced. So we do have a big problem here. We do have a big problem here because if my opponent has Lycanroc plus energy, I will be in a lot of trouble. So I'm gonna go ahead and Beacon. I will grab the Lele and I will grab this Ninetales in order to protect at least one of my Vulpixes. I can't believe I priced 2 of them this game. By benching the Lele, I will be giving my opponent enough price cards to where he can win by playing around the Ninetales, so maybe I should not have benched the Vulpix. However, I do have Virizion GX's GX attack, which is probably going to be key here. Probably going to be pretty key. And my opponent just immediately concedes, so I mean, you probably didn't have a great hand anyways, but as soon as you realize what you're up against, it can be really difficult. So, like I said, I chose not to play this deck because I felt like I would either win very easily some games, but I would just immediately lose and have no chance whatsoever against others. Whereas with something like Pikarom, the card is just so powerful, and starting with Zapdos and pressuring a Jirachi, like, no matter what, you are going to have a chance, right? No matter what, you are going to have a chance. Okay, so looking for another opponent. Okay. So we do start Virizion, which can be decent, especially going second, but there's a risk that it gets knocked out as well. I think I'm going to start Oddish instead. I want to be a bit more conservative with my reason. And I don't mind using Beacon instead of Double Draw for sure. I don't mind using Beacon instead of Double Draw. So no need to risk the reason just yet. Double Timer Ball. Well, not Double Timer Ball, sorry. Double Flip for Timer Ball. And we see a Swablu, we see a Vulpix, and then we see an Alolan Muk. So this might be a sort of like similar deck to mine. So we'll have to see. Vileplume definitely not gonna be good here, right? So we are going to have to hope that my onslaught of Alolan Ninetales is actually able to deal better against his, I guess, onslaught of Alolan Ninetales himself. So we're gonna Beacon. I'm gonna grab a Leyland. Well, no, we know my opponent has the Muk already, which is terrible. Really terrible for us. Definitely gonna grab Vulpix and another Alolan Ninetales, I would say. I might just end up using Virizion GX, honestly. Now I think about it, I probably should have benched the Virizion GX. I mean, I can't do it later. I just promote a Vulpix, or I promote Oddish. We'll see. Yep, there's a Safeguard Ninetales, so it's Safeguard against Safeguard, but we do have Last Chance Potion, and my opponent does not, presumably, right? So we'll see. This is gonna be an interesting battle. Definitely gonna go ahead and Professor Elms for triple Oddish, not because I want to bench the Oddishes, but rather just because I want to not draw them. And we'll attach energy to this Vulpix. I will evolve myself. And yeah, the Last Chance Potions should be the difference maker here. So I'm going to go ahead and Beacon. I'll grab these two friends, right? Because I do need those. And this is going to be a really quirky battle, honestly. This is going to be a really, really quirky battle. Because, which I think I should come out on top, because his Altaria GX, his Altaria GX cannot beat my, oh my gosh, cannot beat my Alolan Ninetales. But my opponent also is playing Disruption, which is awful. I only have 3 Fairy Energies. So maybe I shouldn't be using Beacon. I mean, he's clearly going to attack us as well. The issue is he has Disruption. So no, I should have attached. I actually think I should have attached there. Yeah, I definitely need to start attacking because my opponent is having a very slow setup, so I should be the one to apply the pressure. Wow, goes for the Ditto. Out of all the basic Pokemon, he goes for the Ditto when he's playing, when he already has the Alolan Muk set up. That is so crazy. That is actually so crazy. Why would you even do that? We keep top decking bad cards. My opponent keeps evolving. I mean, this just gives me a really nice target for a Kuzma play. Clearly we won't be able to use the Ericas anytime soon. Right. Clearly we won't be able to use the Ericas anytime soon. So Virizion GX looking better and better. I wouldn't mind Kuzmaing and KOing the Altaria to lead off. Finally, my opponent finds a DC. He will take a prize, activating my counter energy, which I do not mind at all. Right, I do not mind that at all. We get a Gardenia. So right now, I can heal. Oh no, that was... Oh my gosh, I clicked the wrong Ninetales. I actually clicked the wrong Ninetales, which might not be terrible thanks to the last chance potions, but... Okay, I did not mean to do that. I would just draw the potions eventually. And then we'll Aurora Beam, yeah? Epic Alolan Ninetales matchup to close out the video. Epic Alolan Ninetales matchup to close out the video. Another Grimer. A Judge Whistle for a card. And we see a Stevens Resolve. Interesting. So, yeah. Weapon is just gonna go the heavy disruption route. I would imagine. Losing the counter energy. I mean, losing the other fairy will suck though, because then I only have one fairy energy left. Yeah. The disruption is what's gonna do it for my opponent, for sure. And I mean, then maybe it would come down to a deck out scenario, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll just take the prize card here. I don't mind. It's an extra resource. But I think, okay, so what I'm expecting to happen here, oh, is he's gonna have to lose, I mean, isn't he? He's gonna end up having lose, I mean. Okay, there's no way he didn't go for energy disruption, right? Well, I guess there is. Why? Wait. Oh, this has shred? Oh, Sonic Edge does KO me. Ooh, Sonic Edge does actually KO my Ninetales. Oh, that's not good. I mean, it might be okay. Nah, it's probably not great. Okay, this means I get another hidden, potentially. This is such an awkward game. This is actually such an awkward game. Yeah, Sonic Edge is gonna do it for my opponent. 110 damage. Okay, plays the escape rope. Which means if he doesn't promote the Altaria, which he would probably will, now I can Kuzma and attack the Altaria first. Okay, no, he promotes the Altaria, that makes sense. He's playing escape rope too. What are we playing against? What the heck are we playing against? Okay. So, I mean, I need to attack this twice, right? And I feel like the energy should go here. And then... How do I... Oh no, I do have a rare candy. So I should evolve, right? Just to buy myself a turn, perhaps. And then I will pass. Really weird game for sure. Really, really weird game. I mean, I'm glad my opponent is going the aggressive route with the Altaria. Because then that means my counter energies will work. Attaches at DCE. That way he can only Bright Tone. It's unlikely he'll be able to Kuzma KO my Ninetales before I attack him, so... We'll see. I might just end up playing out cards. Or we can just get judged. That works too. That works too. I mean, it's a fresh new hand, right? It's a fresh new hand. We don't get energies, however. That's what, like any energies whatsoever. See a Choice Band. We're gonna see a Bright Tone. So my Ninetales cannot attack the Altaria anymore. And we get a counter energy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pass here. I mean, my opponent could just not find the water energy, right? Maybe I shouldn't have evolved. Maybe I shouldn't have evolved. Or he just draws the water energy. That's fine. Sonic Edge. I will promote this Ninetales, attach, attack. He knocks me out, and then counter energy is still active, and I use it with this Ninetales. So we are seemingly okay. And this Erika's Hospitality is just icing on the cake. I will, however, thin first. I will draw the Virizion just in case I need to pick the Alolan Ninetales up, and then I definitely use Erika's here. The counter energy is nice. It's feeling my opponent is only playing one Crushing Hammer. I mean, I guess my opponent's just playing his cards. He's not recognizing the win condition. So we hit for 160. He knocks me out with Sonic Edge. Unless he doesn't know how Sonic Edge works. Judge Whistle gets him an extra card. That's fine. Or he judges. I don't mind that at all either. Right? I guess he's making that decision right now. And he will indeed judge me, which, once again, doesn't really concern me. What concerns me is energy. Oh no, he chooses to Lily. I am fine with that. I am fine with that. And the Tails is amazing, in fact. The Tails is, in fact, amazing. I guess my opponent is debating on whether retreating or attacking me. Right? Nope, he chooses the high pressure route, which I don't mind at all. Okay. The Battle of the Mediocre Pokemon is the name of this. The name of this matchup. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach the counter energy. And I will bench the Virizion. And I will go ahead and Cynthia. I do need to, well, I don't even know if the fairy energy is in there, but I guess I can check now. And I should definitely check. The last fairy energy is in fact priced. So that could be problematic if my opponent manages to discard this energy. Should have to go loud, hope I get it from my prizes, and if I do, I might have a chance here. Grass and fairy. Okay, we got the fairy. That's the important one. The fairy energy is the important one. The grass might also be important, although if my opponent, well, my opponent can't attack me this turn, never mind. My opponent cannot attack me this turn. What a weird matchup. What a weird matchup we are having here. I definitely would have never put money on us playing against an Alolan Muk, Alolan Ninetales, and Altaria GX deck with Steven's Resolve and Judge's Whistle and Crushing Hammers. Not bad though. I mean, we might get judged. We know my opponent has a judge in his hand, but at least the fairy energy is in there, right? And we have some sort of healing. Our counter energies are no longer providing anything other than a colorless, right? There's a Cynthia. The Enhanced Hammer, that's okay. I don't mind the Enhanced Hammer. I do mind a Crushing Hammer or a Plumeria. That's what I mind. And there's a Fairy, so the energy split even like working against my opponent at this point in time. I generally think I attached the Fairy here. Like, I'm fully committed to this Ninetales. This Ninetales has to take all 6 prizes this game. So definitely attaching. Definitely gonna bench the double Oddish. Everything but the Ninetales retreats for 1 energy. But what I'm really looking for is the last chance potions, which I can't seem to get now. I have yet to use any, and I can't seem to get them. But I did get a Gardenia, which, like, 1 turn of healing might be enough. That's all I need against one attacker, right? And the grass is great, so I can Gardenia as well. So, well, it's the only way I can heal this upcoming turn if my opponent has a DC and retreats. And now with a double fairy, I am immune to 1 Crushing Hammer head flip. I am immune to 1 Plumeria, but I am still susceptible to a double of those cards. I feel like if my opponent pulls that off, my win condition then becomes Guzma style. Oh, and my opponent has healing himself. Flipping healing. Wow. I guess we ran into... Like, he heals the wrong Pokemon though, for sure. Definitely heals the wrong Pokemon. Okay, trying to go after my Virizion. I see you, my friend. But that is not going to work for you. I definitely think I play the Life Forest, right? I definitely think I play the Life Forest here. Just to keep this guy safe, and then I'm gonna go ahead and switch. And I will also Elms, just to thin. I feel like eventually my play will be just to Guzma style, because my opponent's damage output is also not great. That Life Herb was such a waste of a card though. I feel like my opponent had a chance to beat me, but doesn't seem like that deck is a very advanced deck. Why am I facing those decks? I don't know. Maybe my concessions. Okay, yeah, even tries to field blower the stadium, which is a Prism Star, so obviously it cannot be field blowered. And yeah, goes for the Aurora Beam. That's fine. He's looking to top deck a water to take me down, but little does he know that I will go ahead and Gardenia. Gardenia and Life Forest and get a knockout. So yeah, that should pretty much seal the deal. The other Gardenia definitely does. We still have the 4 last chance potions in the deck, which I have not been able to draw. But actually has the water energy. So the Life Herb might end up making a difference. However, we have the Gardenia. So the Gardenia pulling through for us. Gardenia being the MVP of today. If I didn't have the Gardenia, I would have had to retreat this turn. And probably sacrifice an Oddish. Or even promote the Virizion GX. So yeah, we see Aurora Beam. Nothing on my opponent's bench threatens me, so even if I don't get last chance potion, I don't care anymore. And now we have the game winning Guzma against the Ditto that my opponent got after he had the Alolan Lock out, so really weird there. Didn't get to use last chance potion in any single game, but trust me guys, last chance potion is how you beat Malamar. It can be how you beat Naganadel. We're gonna see a judge, so maybe finally I'll be able to play a last chance potion here. I'm not giving up though. Definitely not giving up. We see a DCE, so now he's gonna try and attack with Mug. He's just playing every card. He's just playing every card that he gets, which meh, kind of makes sense, kind of doesn't. I will go ahead and play the last chance potion. Completely heal my Pokemon. And attack into the Alolan Mug. So really awkward and weird game. Super slow paced, but we end up winning. Yeah, we end up winning. Yeah, my opponent's just playing every card he can because he can. Okay, we'll take it. So yeah, guys, definitely I suggest trying out this deck. Oh my gosh, why? Why do you do this, opponent? Why do you actually do this? It's like the Blastoise guy from the previous game. Why do you drag on games longer? Just concede. Just move on to the next game. If you have a chance to win, play to it. But if you don't, just... Wow. Once again, guys, the lesson is don't be this guy. Don't be this guy. Don't be this guy. Don't be the Blastoise guy. Just have good sportsmanship. Anyways, guys, definitely didn't get to showcase much of the Vileplume. It felt like that battle was more of a theme deck battle than an actual game. But trust me, like if you try out the deck with your friends, try it out against the top 4. As long as there's no Jolteon, you have a good matchup against the top 4. If there's Jolteon, which there seems to be everywhere, and it's the reason why I played Jolteon myself for Collinsville, then it's gonna be a very difficult time for you. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be all for Ninetales Vileplume. Don't forget to leave a like, really helps out the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow for more action. Bye bye.